The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
Exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
S&P's off 21, Dow's off 238, NASDAQ's off 109, and the Russell's off 22, and of course that's off the lows of the day. What was that low on the S&P cash here? 2869. So what? Well, 10, 11 points, something like that higher off the lows. And again, if you've got a market that's down on Friday like this, not uncommon to see a bounce on Monday, then I could see maybe further pullback on Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. We need to get down to about 2850 to find some kind of low, and that's only, about a day away. If the market could just rally a little as it is today, that light volume, continued light volume back down to 2850 or 2860 would be probably the place you'd want to look at. Now, the thing is that we've had a little rally here, not a lot of volume up, more volume than down, 4.6 billion shares as we start the show, which is a fairly healthy day, especially on a Friday. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this, but what you have to watch out for is this thing, everybody bought it a little early, and it rolls right into the close. If it rolls into the close, pretty good chance that you get some kind of bounce on Monday, but you'd want a retest back to lowers. If we just keep rolling down, then you get that rolling auction. But, we're 30 points probably away from fairly decent support. And the first bounce, and the amount of air coming out of this market, froth, in a lot of stocks is incredibly quick. It's just not the biggest names out there. It's that Russell that came along that's not in those indexes, off 1.33%. Again, most people, I think, are starting to anticipate a stronger, an end to the trade issues. The Russell ran on the idea that if trade got problematic, then companies in the United States, small companies, would rise to the occasion. That's kind of turning around. The other part of that also is, of course, with bonds, cash is going to be harder to get. And, of course, who are the companies that need cash and it's hard to get? It's the small companies. The big companies can get it fairly easily. The largest companies have a pile of $200 billion just laying around, so they don't need it. It's always like that when you go to the bank. It's the people that need the money, they don't want to give it to. The people that don't need the money, they do want to give it to. But you never know. Anyway, we're going to take a look at a lot of charts today. Give me a call. We got a few questions already in the email system. But certainly give me a call at 877-927-6648 or our new phone number, BR549. If anybody can tell me where that phone number came from, well, I'll give you a gold star. Okay, what else is going on out here? Let's do a little history and get in for the rest of the day.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating, and on this day in night, well, that's not right. There it is. After a long battle with pancreatic cancer, technology visionary and founder of Apple Computer, Steve Jobs passes away. Jobs' contributions to the technology industry are undeniable, and he may be one of the worst human beings ever that didn't kill somebody else. A lot of horrible people that killed people. millions of people. But there's kind of like there's kind of like just horrible people that were horrible to everybody they knew, their horrible lives. Kind of American Psycho, maybe a good way to do it without all the blood and stabbing and everything. A lot of people think he had Asperger's, but there seems to be a real kind of psychological tintype for these guys that had, well, basically what it amounted to accidental empires for the most part. Steve Jobs is probably a little less accidental, but man, he was pretty horrible to everybody that ever came around his path, and of course his death was unnecessary. He got one of the earliest notices about having pancreatic cancer. He was the 1 in 100 people that they could operate and save him. But he was hanging around a bunch of hippy-dippy people out there in San Francisco that all just told him if he just drank enough juice cleanses, everything would be okay. By the time he woke up to the fact that he was a moron and believed all this homeopathic BS, they couldn't save him, which was also just weird how a lot of strange ideas lead to really horrible results. What he was very good on, though, was anticipating products after they'd been announced. Almost everything he had at one time or another, he saw years before for other people and other people that had done. Just the time was either early, and they really didn't have a good idea how to make the product user-friendly. He was extremely good at that. Nothing was new in the Mac. It all happened at Xerox years before. He packaged it and put it together. When it came to movies, he saw how Disney did it, decided to go down the Disney trail, but do it with computers and create Pixar. His return to Apple in 1997, after being forced out in about this time of year in 1985, was interesting in the fact that he really just sat down, saw how Disney was successful, decided that 3D animation could be successful. He pretty much looted everybody that worked at Pixar, which is hysterical. Only about 2 people in that whole company ever made any decent money. Every time it looked like they needed more cash, he just made them all cough up big hunks of their early shares in the stock. But again, he didn't, kind of almost an Asperger's thing in that he wasn't ever going to give up a dime. He had a very certain idea about what he did. And of course, when he got into 2003 and the iPod, what happened then? Well, he'd seen a product kind of like it over at Microsoft and cleaned it up, and it did well. iPhone, everything. At one time or another, everything existed. But he made it great. He made it good. People made a beeline to the door to buy it. On this day in 2011, Steve Jobs died.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors. Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Well, I've heard a lot this week, maybe even the last 10 days, about how crude is going to the moon again. I didn't believe it. The market's been, it's not bad, but it hadn't been good for crude. And it seems like anytime you get in the $70 range, you start seeing a great deal more production in the market, and then it comes back down. I suspect, looking at the charts, that's exactly what we have going on. We got back into the previous candles of July 10th and May 22nd in the XOP. And, you know, you had 18.8 million shares, which is really, you wanted to see about 30 million shares on that May 22nd high. So we kind of got into it. Energy off the low. The August 15th low out here wasn't all that exciting back on the way back up. You had kind of one day where you might have had enough juice to push it higher, but that's it. I think that I don't think there's a lot more to say. I think I may have more charts in here in the energy sector, but it looks to me like the big push out here was getting into crude as a hedge for the rest of the market falling apart, maybe bonds getting hammered. But that kind of ran out. We got actually got the numbers for Baker Hughes numbers for rig counts. Canada continues to soar up to 182 rigs. Rig count is down 27 rigs from last year, count at 209, but it got down a lot more. It was down like to 150 rigs. So Canada is really getting back into gear on a great deal of this. U.S. rig count was down too, but those are just normal cycles of shutting down for maintenance, that kind of stuff. But 1,052 rigs in the United States. But we've got a handful more. And, of course, someone brought up Anwar today. We even have more places with crude getting ready to come on, at least in the United States. And, you know, it's a lot of this oil and gas and the this business, of course, was offshore. And with the threat of, you know, possibly having another BP, you might as well just get your energy on land where maybe it'll make a little mess, but it's not near as hard as trying to put a big cork in a well, you know, 1,000 feet under the ocean. And of course, having to shut down every time there's a hurricane. Anyway, wanted to go through some other ones. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. What is WBK here? Let's take a quick look at this one. Westpac Banking. Don't know much about this one. But I mean, if you were looking at banking stocks, this one doesn't look bad. I'm sure it's a smaller regional bank, but last high down or last low is September 11th at 1945 with 1.22 million shares. Last 3 days, 360, 270. Today, 175,000. If you're thinking that banks are going to do better, then that one was fairly interesting. Wanted to take a quick look at TLT. We got to 112.62, and of course, we've been talking about now that it broke through the real low. I mean, we almost got there today, the March 13th low. The real one we want to look at is this December 16th, 2016 low in the TLT at 111.57. It looks, man, we get one more day like this, we're going to be down to it. Maybe that's where we find the first bounce in the market. Maybe somebody comes back into this, but 111.57 is the magic number in the TLT that you want to keep an eye on. T-Mobile hadn't really been hit that hard. It hadn't been great, but you pulled back a little off of $70.94 on October 1st, got down to 68.12. It's not the end of the world on that one. Support comes in at about 66 bucks. Certainly the next couple of days, like I said, I think this is going to extend into Wednesday before we have a significant chance of some lows. But you'd love to see this thing down about 66 bucks, which is where going to be fairly decent support is going to be. Did I get this? I think I looked maybe at the wrong one. No, that is it. Okay. Pets. I've been thinking about this one a lot of the day. It's showing fairly decent support around this $30, $31 range over a number of times. August 23rd, 2017, May 8th, 2018. Right in that $30, $29 range. We've gone through it, but energy's been fairly light. Pets, always a good business, especially with an aging population. It's down a little bit, but certainly doesn't have a lot of volume, no sign of a return. Ideally, if this would get to 25 bucks, this would be a nice trade because you'd have the possibility of it coming and testing that high volume high back on January 22nd at 57.03. Now, it's probably going to need some consolidation, but there aren't a lot of stocks out here that look to me like if they did pull back, you might get another shot at the highs. That one is interesting. Question in the den. Strong enough to extend higher or looking vulnerable? I guess that TXT is Textron, right? And again, not much of a movement, kind of light volume. I don't see a lot higher or lower in that either one. Let's take a quick look at, well, looks to me like Honeywell wants to come back into this trading range. You never had any, this one actually is false breakout to the high side. Closed below 163.64 is a bearish signal. And of course, you're at 164s now. So you only need to go down another 50 cents to get this back in the trading range. The energy on the way up was never good in Honeywell. I suspect it has and is getting kind of painted with a broad brush as it's kind of similar to General Electric and probably not as bad or rotten to the core, but I think a lot of people have kind of the GE vibe in Honeywell and are always worrying about that. Ingersoll Rand, which is IR. Yeah. This one looks the best of the bunch. It could pull back, and I wouldn't be a problem buying this one. Ideally, you'd love this thing at somewhere between 95 and 97, bucks. It got up to 105.76. Not any real signal. Down on lighter volume doesn't mean you're going to get that 697. And as always, I've got to sneeze. Wow. You know what it is? About this time of year, the humidity drops. And boy, does the air conditioning make me want to sneeze for some reason. Not flying. Anyway, keep the cards and letters coming. Path at TFNN.com, 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're going to go back to the email well. And Hector's asking about Snap. Buying when they're crying. Yeah, but there's just no signal out here with Snap. One of the problems with this, because I tried to take a little shot at it long and got stopped out fairly quickly, is the companies that sell advertising to a lot of these companies like Snap and Facebook and Google. The government's all over these guys. They've raided their places. They've taken their books. It looks like there may be some really massive fraud, And the thought is that rates are probably only going to go down. Snap may not have been involved with this, but some of the other companies that are really big in it, like Google and Facebook, are getting kind of certainly painted with this brush. I don't know if it's true. Generally, when you get the FBI in and seizing all your data and there are search warrants, they got more than just a whiff of something that maybe doesn't smell so good. This is the one thing that you would say is you're getting kind of close to the 149.02 low that Facebook has. At that point, maybe you want to look and see if you don't get a similar, some kind of similar low or double bottom in Snap. But right now, the rumors are enough in any of these online companies to really tar them. Let's take a quick look at Google out here. I don't think any of them are going to, are going to do any better. Google kind of shook it off for a little bit, but these guys are in the same camp. And that there are these companies that consolidate and buy and sell packagized advertising campaigns. And it looks like a lot of these guys, at least if you follow the lead of the federal government, the FBI, and all the other agencies involved looking at this thing, it is problematic. Now, Google, you had, 2.3 million shares on the way down yesterday, which was fairly decent. You've got this low back here at 150. You also have Google with bigger problems, and that is that they're going to have to explain why they're involved in pressing Chinese citizens. I don't know if it's next week or the week after that, but some senators have said, you skated by, you sent somebody that told us that they didn't know anything. You better be here, and you better send somebody that knows. We're not going to give you a pass. Next time you try to run a song and dance on us, somebody's probably going to go to contempt of court, and they can cool their heels over there until they're ready to answer us on whether or not you're conspiring with Chinese communist government to go after its people with your search information. Many people in Google itself have been leaking huge amounts of stuff to, what is his name, Greenwald? Yeah, I think it's Greenwald, the guy that worked with Edward Snowden. And he's getting a lot of stuff from these guys on exactly what it is. And we already talked about how at least the test system that these guys have already, which I think is called, what was it called? Butterfly? Something like Butterfly. I read it this morning. I'll have to look at it again. Is already in production at a low scale in China. But you don't want to Google the wrong thing. Anything that you Google that trips the landmine and people show up at your door. And of course, Google's the one sending those alerts out. Man, for a company that motto when they went public was to not be evil, kind of evil. So the problem is you got a lot of problems in these different companies. Back to Snap, and Snap isn't involved in any of them. But the smell in a sector. There's always the cockroach theory of the stock market, and that is if one company's having problems, maybe others are too. But certainly Snap, even if it turned around a bit, lower ad prices can't do a whole lot for you. You need some kind of signal in Snap, and I just don't see anything at the moment. Yeah, that is it. Yeah, Glenn Greenwald. That's what I was thinking of from The Intercept. Anyway, just there's no real sign of any kind of low. You are starting to see lighter volumes, but now when this thing, I kind of like this thing when it was going sideways up to about the 25th. Then this thing really started to have items. I thought maybe you were getting a false breakdown. You really didn't. And I think I lost like 30 cents on it or something. 25 cents. Not a good day, but what can you say? Okay, what else do we have going on? Just taking a look at it. I've got a lot of stocks on a list. In fact, I sent out a big list in the Tech Insider today of all the stuff I want to buy, and it's really not that far away. We could be within a week of a lot of those target levels. I've been waiting for some of these stocks to hit, especially if we get a couple of really decent down days next week, and we're able to get some kind of viable washout and then go into a fall Christmas rally after this. But got a question is really what's going on. There was a thing, I think it was in 2012. They started calling it the taper tantrum. And that was when there was the idea that, well, we're going to go ahead and start trying to ease up on this. And man, did the markets go nuts if you weren't trading at those time. And every day they talked about the taper tantrum on tapering easy money in the stock market. And that's, I think I'm going to call this the taper tantrum part 2, DEUX, for those people in Montreal. And it's the part where you're really saying, okay, this isn't really any different than before. No one likes higher rates. No one likes harder money. They're certainly trying to put the brakes on the market from the Fed fairly quickly because they're afraid of inflation. Don't see it in gold. Don't see it a lot of other places. There are a handful of places where it has been picking up, but fuel, I think there are other reasons why that's up. And certainly some things at these grocery stores have now gotten incredibly cheap. A gallon of milk was like $4.50. It's now regularly about $2.50 down here. So something happened in the farm belt there. And there's a few other things like that. But, you know, are things really going up significantly to scare the Fed or scare people that don't have any money to begin with? I think it's the latter. Okay, what else do we have? Anyway, First Solar, been looking at this one for a while. We'll come back and look at it. But there are a lot of these stocks that have finally come back down to some level of support. I'm not a big fan of solar, but solar panels. The chart doesn't look that bad. This is kind of what you've been waiting for. Be back in a minute.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks. Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you'd like to be the bank and get the type of interest they receive instead of the low interest rates they give to clients, then I have an investment you may want to take a look at. I'm offering 4-year secured first mortgages on buildable city lots in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment can be anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000 per buildable city lot. The interest paid is 7% per year, paid monthly. Depending on the investment, the income per month per lot ranged from $175 for a $30,000 investment to $437.50 for a $75,000 investment. If you are in the CD market, you want to look at this investment. St. Petersburg is located in Pinellas County, which is the densest county in Florida. If you're looking for an investment with your principal intact that pays a good interest rate, this may be for you. The supply is limited, so act now. For more information on these secured first mortgage opportunities, you can call me at 877-518 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profile So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
As we said, we'd take a look at First Solar. This thing had a nice gap up going back to July 28th of 2017, and that had about 9 million shares. Back with about half of it now, not quite into that gap, but just a few bucks back. So if I was short this thing, it actually doesn't look that bad, at least for a bounce off of here, but what can you say? Other ones that are interesting to me are this 5 below. This thing has had a gap up for every earnings. You've got two nice gaps. Normally, I wait until you get the third gap to start spring the sell button. But you know what? If you wanted to buy it, doesn't look that bad. You gapped up on the 7th of September with 5 million shares, and you're down here with 560,000 shares today, 888 yesterday, or 888,000 yesterday against that 5 million shares. So that's kind of what you're looking for. A little bit bigger pullback than you had the time before, but you could get one more big gap in this. That's what you want to be thinking about. What else? We looked at Facebook already. Let's take a look at this one, which is DDR. Let me go ahead and pull this up. We can talk about it understandingly. Owner and manager of open-air shopping centers to provide heavily compelling shopping experiences and merchandise mix for retail partners and consumers. This had about a 7 million share low on February 9th. You're starting to get into that. You had a retest on light volume in April. Then you had the run higher. Huge gap down on earnings and forecast. Now you're back down here with almost a little reversal signal today. A tiny one. But not a lot of volume as it came back into this level. So 12.60 to 18 bucks might be a bigger trading range. Of course, all this may do is go right up to this gap at 15 or 16 and hit a wall, as most people aren't going to malls anymore. But it may mean that we are getting kind of close to finding some level of support in the markets. We keep bouncing out here. Now off 15 points on the S&P cash, 189 on the Dow. NASDAQ's off 74 and the Russell's off 15 or 16. 16. Crude oil up 20 cents, gold up $4. Again, you would have loved to see a kind of follow through in gold after the nice pop back up, but just kind of going sideways so far. Monday will probably be a big signal in gold, and that is whether or not people that bought it for the weekend decide to hang on to it after the weekend we open back for business on Monday. Although, if I'm not mistaken, Monday is Columbus Day. We tend to see lighter volume on that day already. So if you're kind of bearish, you'd like the market to go down a little bit more and have lighter volume. If you're bearish, the market goes a little higher on lighter volume. It could be problems. The question in the den is about solar photovoltaic cells. And here's the problem. They're not going to get much better. One of the things that lasers do is they work on a very narrow band. And if you ever got a laser pointer, it's probably a 430 nanometer laser pointer, and it kind of looks red. If it's green, it's got a certain frequency, but very, very narrow. It's not like a white light that has a lot of different components in it to make white. These things are extremely narrow. And what basically the same kind of technology means that the most efficient that a solar cell can ever be is about 32. They spend millions on the solar cells for these little probes that go to Mars. And these things have to have basically multi-layers so that they can accept different frequencies and actually make enough power. So the ones on your roof are very narrow frequencies. That means that they just never going to pump out a great deal of energy. They're getting cheaper, but per square foot, are these things going to double or triple the energy output? They're pretty much at what is going to be a wall for a long time. My problem has always been that was the first problem. The second problem is where do you store it? And nothing's getting any better on that, especially if you look at Tesla. Tesla, of course, was coming out with this battery wall. They were coming out with solar shingles. I think all they got was shingles, the disease. Of course, Musk out blowing his mouth off again on Twitter today. This thing's down a little bit more, 14.4 million shares. But of course, a lot of these companies, it eventually will come to economics, and the economics of I can't even say it, photovoltaic. It just isn't that great. If you make it real cheap, it's interesting. You got to make some way to store it. Once that storage part gets solved with something better than lithium-ion batteries for Mr. Musk, it could really take off. I just haven't seen anything. Did read something about aluminum batteries and zinc air batteries. But again, man, this stuff, you hear a lot, not much ships, and that's always the problem. Okay, what else do we have? Got a question. Yeah, I don't know what exactly happens, but my guess is that maybe we get a bounce on Monday on light volume. Columbus Day, a lot of people gone, guts up a little bit higher. Then you start your pullback on Tuesday and Wednesday. And Wednesday probably sets up the first buyable low in this. But, this is the market's got a taper tantrum, and nothing's going to change that, I don't think, in the next couple of days. Most of the stuff I'm looking at is off the lows of today. That would set up the little bounce on Monday. But then I guess we're probably going to still see continued selling. One of the reasons why I think it's not over yet is the huge shorting that went on. We talked about it in Boeing. I mean, you had some for a stock that is very, very lightly shorted. You certainly had everybody piling in right there at 394 on the 3rd. It started to shrink a little bit yesterday, a little bit less there. But that and Amazon, these big guys think that there's a little bit more to go. We'll be back.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Well, if you're tweeting away, then it's probably Twitter. TWTR has been on a pretty much one-way trip lower. 47.79 was the high on June 15th, mere months ago. Back down, going for its lows at 26.60. That's the April 4th low. I had a question come in via the email. Some people told me email was a fad. Anyway, that's what you want, 26.60. That's it. So if you're looking at things like Snap and the rest of these things for some kind of bottom fishing play, these things came down with some fairly decent energy. But, you know, 26.60 is where you kind of look. Facebook's not that much farther lower. If you were short these things, probably time to start thinking about whether or not you cover these shorts. This thing's, you know, what is it? Almost a 50% haircut in Twitter. And there's nothing better that's going to happen. The question in the email was, is this affect Twitter the same way that it does Facebook? I mean, these ad company investigations, and the answer is yes. It's unclear whether any of these companies participated with these other companies in the fraud that's, I guess, being alleged. But no one really knows. And that's why at least to some extent. I think a lot of these things like Google, Twitter, but more famously, and Facebook more famously, I think people kind of look at them thinking that they are a little bit more vulnerable, mostly because Google has its own kind of ad campaign and AdSense stuff. So maybe not as vulnerable to finding this out, but you sell less ads somewhere, and of course your rates come down too. Be in the second half of Tom O'Brien Hour today. We'll be talking about tech. Anytime, so when you can, not when you can. We'll see you Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.